Ah, there we go.
Okay. Hi, hey, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curious Endeavourances Book Club, where we read anything and everything. If you have not seen this before, we are a book club that coordinates itself on Goodreads, and we meet at the end of the month to read the book that we picked to read that month. How novel of us. Oh, pun.
Except for this month.
This month is last month's because of scheduling issues, but that's fine. That happens. People have lives.
But apparently not on Easter.
No fear. We had no problem being here on Easter. Happy Easter. Glad påsk.
Indeed. Happy Easter.
Joy is back.
We all got one. So yes, we do Goodreads and we do the videos, and we occasionally blog things in relation. They are called reviews. That is the word I was looking for as I kept talking.
But they
We'll
are
come
late.
back around eventually.
Yeah, eventually. So anyway, that is us. We read things. It is awesome. Natasha may or may not be joining us later, but in lieu of her, we have us. Starting with Ashley
Yay.
Newell.
Hello, everyone. Happy Easter. Joy is back.
And Julianne was in.
Hi, everyone. Happy Easter.
And I'm Caitlin Perry. Glad påsk, because I live in a different country. And that's what they say.
I'll be in Hong Kong shortly, but I have no idea how to say Happy Easter in Cantonese, so I'm not going to try.
Well, you can tweet it. Hashtag Curious Endeavourances. So this month's pick was Julianne's pick. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
It was the
Although
fortune.
it could have been Ashley's.
That's why I had a question at the end.
It was too good. It couldn't have been mine.
Oh.
I haven't picked a really awesome book since Lexicon.
That was a good book, though.
Love Lexicon.
Yes, but so read Lexicon by Max Berry, but also this month, The Fortune Hunter by Daisy Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, take it away.
Oh, I'm reading. Oh, it's not on the back. It's not on the back. Okay.
I'll take it away.
Well, no, it's all like the reviews on the back, so there's nothing there. It's inside. Okay. Empress Elizabeth of Austria, known as Sissi, is the Princess Diana of 19th century Europe. Famously beautiful, as captured in a portrait with diamond stars in her hair, she is unfulfilled in her marriage to the older Emperor Franz Joseph. Sissy has spent years evading the stifling formality of royal life on her private train or yacht, or wherever she can, on the back of a horse. Captain Bay Middleton is dashing, young, and the finest horseman in England. Also part circus freak, which they don't tell us here. He is also impoverished, with no hope of buying the horse needed to win the Grand National. What? But he had the horse. But he already had the horse.
But no one thought she'd win.
But that's not what it says. This is wrong.
Okay, well, mine's different than yours. I'll read
Protest.
mine.
Protest. And but there's more. Until he meets Charlotte Baird, a clever, plain-spoken heiress whose money gives her a choice among suitors. Charlotte falls in love with Bay, the first man to really notice her for his vulnerability as well as his glamour. Okay. When I don't think that's right.
Can I read mine? Mine's a little bit more accurate.
This is weird. Shouldn't it be
Okay.
for her vulnerability? What? What is going on here? When Sissy joins the legendary hunt organized by Earl Spencer in England, Bay is asked to guide her on the treacherous course. Their shared passion for riding leads to infatuation that jeopardizes the growing bond between Bay and Charlotte and threatens all of their futures. Okay, I read this before, like the last one.
Yeah.
We read the ones that are coming up, and I haven't touched it since. This doesn't feel right.
No,
Okay,
it's
do you wanna
not.
There are inaccuracies in
That
this.
kind of makes me wonder if that would resolve an issue, though, because Caitlin and I were both like, but he's not a fortune hunter. So, if in some different version of the book, Charlotte bought him tipsy, that might make him a little
maybe.
But I think the estimation is that everyone's after Charlotte and the Empress, and should be but he's not actually.
He's really
He's
not.
just-
That really bugged me. Like, I
he
think
just thinks with his little brain.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not in it for the money. He just needs to stick his wig somewhere. God.
Everywhere.
Douche. Not everywhere. He's limited it to 2. Oh, I guess there's the other
Well,
one.
not really. Just 2 within the confines of the book.
Well, 3 within the confines of the book because it starts
Oh,
out.
And the woman he impregnated. There's the
Yeah,
one
Blanche at the beginning. Blanche.
Yeah, Blanche.
Yes.
Yeah.
But okay, that bothers me. That makes no sense. He had the horse. They've been like together forever. He didn't want to buy another horse. That was the best horse. Okay, so read your more accurate one.
In 1875, Sissy, the Empress of Austria, is the woman that every man desires and every woman envies. Beautiful, athletic, and intelligent, she has everything except happiness. Bored with the stultifying etiquette of the Habsburg court, Sissy comes to England to hunt and to find excitement. There, she discovers the dashing Captain Bay Middleton, the only man in Europe who can outride her. 10 years younger than her and engaged to the spirited Charlotte. Bay has everything to lose, but Bay and the Empress are as reckless as each other.
One thing that bothers me about the way these are set up, they highlight that this is all going to be about Princess Sissy.
Uh-huh.
And it totally isn't.
I
Put
can't
the focus either on Middleton or Charlotte.
I had read a fair chunk, and I think we had just met Sissy, and then I reread the back, and I was like, oh, okay. Because I was so wrapped up in Charlotte and Bay, and I'm like, what's Sissy?
But I'm kind of glad because I didn't really like her in this novel.
Sissy, no.
But the idea is that it's selling as a Princess Sissy story, and that's when we
That's
were
true.
promoting the story for last week.
Her on the cover. Right?
Yeah,
like, I assume that's her.
And I was all excited because I'm like, oh, I love the Sissy story, and I can't wait to see what goes on. And you're like, oh, actually, she's just a plot device. It's not actually about exploring her so much as.
No, it easily could have been some other wealthy horse.
Yeah, it didn't have to be historical fiction because it played such a little part on the historical spot. It was just
it's
again just a plot device moment.
Just because those 3 people with those 3 names did actually exist.
Yeah,
but it didn't have to be at all. It would have, because I mean it's based in so little history that.
Yeah, she easily could have made it just entirely fictional.
I felt like it had a lot more to do with like Bay and Charlotte, but even more specifically Bay as like a.
What does he do? He's all conflicted.
I just love my horse. I just want to win the national. Does anyone know what his real name is? Because that's bugging me.
Oh, it is in there.
No,
somewhere.
he did mention it.
I can't remember.
I don't remember. Oh, it was in there.
I know, but I couldn't remember. And then it says his initials, and I'm just like.
What are his initials?
J.R.
It was just like John, wasn't
John, or it was probably John or James.
Yeah.
I thought he was a John. Anyway, you're mentioning him being tortured, and it bothered me so much. Okay, 217. I know we haven't even done initial impressions yet, but
that's okay.
Oh, okay. So
you roll forward and do it.
Such a douche. Okay. Anyway,
217.
Okay, so he totally blames Charlotte for not agreeing to marry him, and that's why he has to sleep with the Empress. If he would not have been there alone with the Empress if Charlotte had agreed to elope with him, and now just when he needed her, she had disappeared. Like, screw off, dude.
Totally have that flag.
Right. He's like, no, we have to get married because if I'm not married, I'm totally gonna sleep around. You have to marry me now. It's just like. Have some self-control, man.
He always would be like, well, maybe you should have explained that to Charlotte, and I'm sure she would have married you, or never.
But it's like, so, no, because they would have been married, and he still would have been like, okay, I've got this foxy old grandmother woman who wants me, and I can't say no, so let's go for it.
I have to say my favorite moment in the book is when he finally grows a set of balls. With Sissy, like when he won't wear the colors, because even when he gets
won't wear those colors.
Yeah, even when he gets in the carriage with her, like when he's done with her, like after the photography exhibit, he's like, "This is probably a trap. I shouldn't have done this." Like, yeah, no, like, why did you go and get her pills for her? You don't work for her.
Yeah.
So when he finally was like, I'm not wearing these colors, like, finally. She's using you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Although
In so many places he is quite lovable, but then you're just like, you suck as a human being. Just so you know.
I love that though. Just like maybe.
Oh, he's still lovable, but he's still a lovable douchebag.
It's true. But I also love that Daisy Goodwin actually wrote such a flawed character.
Yes.
It made me happy because so many people are prone to making characters that are
Mary Sue's.
Perfect. Yes.
They have like those like little teeny flaws that are not really even flaws, and it's like, well, of course they.
No, he is so flawed, but he's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, but I will say I do have to say, as far as douchebags go, because you had mentioned to me that he becomes more of a douchebag. He is not the same kind of douchebag as Fred and Chicken.
It's true. Yeah.
To me, they are very. They are.
Oh.
They were
trying to manipulate Charlotte for her money. Harassing poor little serving boys. Like, I didn't like them at all.
Okay, talking about Chicken. Oh,
I kind of loved when Babe punched him in the face. That made me so happy.
But right before that, and I was noticing as I was going back through my quotes. Where is that? So 382 in my version. Okay, so it's right before the slap. So Chicken says. Okay, so this is the banter between Bay and him. Can't promise that, Chicken, but I will tell you one thing. If Charlotte won't have you, has nothing to do with me. Chicken says, is that so? At least I didn't lead her on and then abandon her when a more attractive offer came along. And then there's the punch. But he did! As soon as the rumor went out that she was going, he's like, no, I wouldn't touch that. It's like, you have no honor either. God.
No, like he's
every single man, except for the little... the little servant boy is a douchebag on some level. There's like a spectrum of douchebagginess, but everything, even Casper in his own way is a little douchebag. But it's just like every male character, you just want to slap at one point.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call them douchebags. Like to me, Chicken and Fred, full on, especially Chicken, full on douche.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guys have their douche moments, but I have like
so it's a spectrum.
But
there you go. Douchebaggery spectrum.
Yes, like they are the epitome of douchebaggery. It's like Casper and Bay
there are those that have their minor tics, and then there are those that just their entire lives are completely affected by the amount of their douchebagginess.
Like with Bay, he's a douchebag when it comes to romance. But he was really good with the servant boy. He's really good with animals.
I was gonna say at the core, he's a good person. Like he has good intentions, even when he's doing things that he knows he shouldn't be doing. He knows he shouldn't be doing them, and he gets mad at himself.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not his fault because it seems like everyone in this community of the male sex is just plagued by douchebagginess actions and attitudes. So I guess if we're looking at he's just the product of his own culture. He's doing okay. He's in douchebag rehabilitation.
He's one of the decent ones as far on that spectrum.
He's still lovable. I totally love it until we get to the end. I'll get to the end later, but
you had way more issues with the end than I did.
Yeah, I had issues at the end. It's ruined for me, but
I'm okay with it ending in the way that it did because clearly they had to get married because historically they do. But it's just the way he chose to do the final proposal of no, you can't just get away with that. No.
Yeah. Because I definitely had a bit of that too. I was like, way to put her on the spot. Now she can't say no.
Yeah, it's the freaking Jumbotron moment. Okay, you are an asshole, and you're publicly declaring that we should get married and all the things because he loves you, and please forgive him. And then everyone around who has no idea what the rest of the story was is like, oh, but he's so sweet. Forgive him. And putting poor little Charlotte on the spot. It's like, well, of course she would say yes. You just Jumbotron her because they're all singing at them. For he's a jolly good fellow. And they're like, go away, you other people. This should be an intimate moment between the two of them because they have issues to resolve.
They totally have issues to resolve. I agree with you. But he rode up on the horse that he just won the national on. They were the underdogs, and they come and
But this is what should have happened. She should have got on the boat, been in America, and him followed her there, regardless of what she would have said. That would have been a true testament of it, rather than trying to turn the town like against her on the. But I'm a poor man who just loves you. That's what should have gone down.
No, I want the guy to catch me before.
Got stuck going to America too.
No, I want the guy to what?
Casper, he didn't go because Bay was there.
No, he didn't even take his bag to the dock. He knew that
he was going to come.
He did take his bags to the hotel. He just didn't take them to the dock.
Yeah, because he knew.
So what if he'd abandoned her thinking Bay was going to show up?
But why not in the lineup as she's ready to board or something like that? Why does it have to be in the street, getting everyone else involved? And it's like, okay, everything between you two has always been perfect in your intimate moments, not in the public sphere. And it just seems so wrong for Charlotte to have all that dragged out into the public.
Like, okay, I'm against that. Like, my one rule, like, when we
started
dating, I think no jumbotrons. Don't you dare propose to me at that Rockets game.
No.
Like, I think that like one of our first Rockets games together, and someone proposed. And I was
woman who legitimately wants to be in a successful marriage should do the jumbotron, because it's just I don't want to publicity. It's not genuine. It's just.
And the thing is, like, I'm gonna say yes no matter what, and I don't want to have to turn to you as soon as it's off and be like, actually, no, bye.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah. You know, but it's she's leaving for America, and I've just won, and I've left Sissy, and I'm going to go grab her.
But couldn't they have still done that in a more intimate setting rather than out on the street where everyone's singing at them?
But would she have gone with him to an intimate setting? Maybe he
it wouldn't have either. But even if if they just gone to another corner rather than him like shouting at everyone. And,
maybe he didn't think that she was gonna go with him. Maybe in his head it was, I must say no.
Well, he was kind of desperate.
Yeah. Just saying.
It just bothered me. I'm a very private person, and if people are singing at me for be like, forgive him, he's wonderful, he loves you, I'd be like, I'm saying no on principle now. Go away.
Can we make this
See what you people have done. See what you people have done. No. God.
You ruined his life forever.
Yeah. Your fault, guys.
Daisy.
Yes, that was the song. Yes. Like, why? Why would you do that? I would hate it. I would hate it.
No, I know. I would hate it too, but devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
I would have said no on principle. No. Do it again when it's proper and not on the freaking Jumbotron, okay? God.
And you better have a ring.
Because it looks like it's that public pressure thing, right? She can't say no if everyone's, watching and the spotlight's on her. And so I would definitely do the, oh yeah? You think I can't say no because people are watching? Challenge accepted. Or maybe I'm just partly you, and that's just how I would handle it.
I think the reason it didn't bother me, like I wasn't a fan of the way that was handled, but I think the reason it didn't bother me as much is because I knew that regardless, Charlotte would have said yes.
Yes, yeah.
So, as much as I'm like, it's not ideal, she would have said yes anyways.
If people weren't singing, I'd probably be fine, better with it, but no, it was too much attention. Too much attention. Not cool. Anyway, how did y'all feel about the book?
I can go first. Sure, I'll take it away. I actually quite loved it. It has now been a couple weeks since I read it, so I may be a little bit rusty on the details, which is unfortunate, but as I was saying to Caitlin and Ashley before we actually came on live, I was reading the last little bit of it on my way to a friend's house, and I had about 10 pages left to go when I got there. And I was so distracted that she was like, just finish it. Just finish it. Because you're going to be distracted until you do. And she was so right. I sat there and just ran straight through the last 10 pages and was like, okay, I'm all good now. So I, top to bottom, for the most part, loved it. There were a couple issues here and there. I didn't like Sissy, which is frustrating because historically, I actually do like the figure of Sissy. So it was kind of frustrating to be like, I don't like you in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I quite loved it. I've got lots of lovely little stickies from various quotes. And of course, the very first page, the very first line was Queen Victoria, a kitten or a codfish. I was sold from the first line.
Is it my turn? I did hate it, but I didn't like it. I mean, my problem, aside from really hating Sissy, I'm getting extremely frustrated with the whole love triangle situation. Like, I just, especially because I hated Sissy, it wasn't like I was even in it to be like, I totally understand
Which
why
way
you're
is
having
it
this.
to go?
Yeah, it's like which way is it to go? And I totally understand why you're having this dilemma. It's like, no, Sissy sucks. Sissy's terrible. Why is this even happening? I also found the beginning to just like in the beginning, the only scenes I liked were when Bay and Charlotte had those extremely short, intimate, private moments, and I felt like everything in between was just taking forever and ever and ever. I really liked the last third, like by the time the national and all that stuff was happening. Um, but then the first third, I like it. It just took me so long to read the book because I was struggling to get through that because it just was so slow to me.
And it's not your genre, so.
No, but I mean that's whatever. I'd say that's beside the point because I do like some historical fiction. And I did like the last third of it, and in the middle third I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get into this once we got like the photography exhibit stuff and Casper and all that, but it was too much explication, I think. And then also Sissy. I just hated Sissy. So when anytime there was a Sissy specifics at the beginning, I was like, oh my god, enough with the veal. I don't care.
I got a kick out of the veal thing, especially later on when the serving boy was telling Bay, and he's like, "They didn't even eat it. What the heck?"
I got a kick out of the veal stuff. Like, yeah, in the when Festi and Nopska were talking, she's like, "I just said it. I didn't think it was going to turn into a thing." Like, I liked those moments.
Well, the veal and the tying the hair on the ceiling, that was researched for how Sissy actually did have some of that, some of her beauty treatments dealt with.
Yes. And the hair just grossed me out. Like, I know that historically she took really good care of it, but in my head it's just like all the rinses and stuff because they don't have, that's what they usually did, right? They put like brandy and stuff in it. It's like, musty hair, so much of it. Yeah. So yeah, I had mixed feelings.
I devoured the book. From like the first page for the longest time of like, this is totally going to be a 5, and then I got to the end and I'm like, stupid proposal, why did you do this to me? But up till then, just seeing people.
So was it a solid 4 then, or was it like a 4.5?
It was a 4.5 because I still devoured it. It bothered me, and I don't know if that's enough to keep me from ever rereading it again or not, but it was so good for so long, and I was just
read it right before that, and then just be like, I know how it ends.
And he's won the national. Okay, off to America.
Rewrite it in your head. Good to go.
Yeah. But no, I absolutely loved it, and totally my genre though, and maybe it's just me, but I loved Charlotte and all her quirkiness, and like she had so much personality. Yeah. She had all the personality that I wanted to see in Catherine from Northanger Abbey,
which I haven't read.
Mr. Tilney is my Austen hero. Right? He trumps Darcy for me, but Catherine annoys the hell out of me because she's way too simple. Way too simple. Whereas Charlotte is fun and quirky and not simple at all. She's actually really clever. So
Charlotte expresses a lot of my feelings about stuff at that time where she's just like, I don't want to put on the dresses and go to the thing. I want to take my photographs.
and all of her verbal slaps. Like, she is just so witty.
Well, that's why I liked all the interactions with her and Bay at the beginning. I was like, okay, this is what's making me pick this book up, is like because they have their little witticisms.
I love her interactions with her sister-in-law, Augusta. Because Augusta's being all snooty with her nose up and be like, oh, these are all the things you're doing wrong, dear, and you just don't know any better. And she just has this little quirk and just, like, cuts you down. I'm like, go Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's always the entertaining, like, she kind of twists, and you just said her name, but I'm blanking on it. What was the sister?
Augusta.
She kind of has that, like, little secret weapon being like, well, you can wear the Lennox diamonds. And Augusta is so, like, obsessed with money and diamonds that she's just like, okay.
It's like, that was easy. I don't even care about the diamonds.
I'm going to pawn them for my passage to America.
Exactly. Like,
makes her awesome.
yeah.
I kind of love that she directed Fred to buy them back. But she's like, please get those back for me. Like, take care of that.
Yeah, they're important to the family, but I needed this now.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, well, he controls her money, so what else was she supposed to do?
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because, like, for the whole book, that's kind of like a shadow over her, and Faye as well, the fact that her brother still controls her fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at the end, she's kind of like, well, if you're controlling my fortune, go ahead and be a secretary. You can go collect those for me.
I'm going to go to America with a man, a single man. Be quite the scandal.
And Chicken wouldn't just abandon her on the fly.
No. Is that why he's called
Idiot.
Chicken? Why is he called Chicken?
We never get that story. We never
I hate
get
that. It's like, what, the last thing that they say?
Yeah, it's like the very last line. Where is it?
It is. It's actually like the very last bit.
How Chicken got his name. Darling Charlotte, I am afraid I will have to disappoint you. You see, if it wasn't for Chicken, I would never have known that you weren't going to marry your American. I owe him my happiness, so I can hardly betray him by telling you his deepest, darkest secret.
Besides, if I tell you, what will you have to look forward to? Oh, I'll think of something.
I'm sure you will.
But I wanted to know.
I know, I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. Why is he called Chicken?
I feel like eventually he would have told her. We just don't get to know.
No. It's like that last little tease at the end. Like, oh, come on. I've been wondering since page 1. Like, or whatever.
Pretty early on.
And you keep saying you're going to tell us, Faye. You keep saying you're going to tell us. It never does.
Be his poker chip in case there's any other indiscretions that he has. Well, you can't leave me now, Charlotte. I still haven't told you the chicken story.
You'll never know how Chicken got his name. And I'm just trying to think of ways, if I were Charlotte, of getting information out of someone else. Doesn't Fred know?
Yeah, but good luck getting it out of him.
Dear Fred, Augusta can't borrow the Lennox diamonds unless you tell me how Chicken got his name.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
That's what I would have done.
Done.
I am holding them for ransom until someone tells me the story.
Yes, now.
Or, I mean, when Chicken was going after her, I'd been like, so you want to marry me, do you? Well, you must answer me these questions 3.
Question 1, how did you get the name Chicken? Now I need a few good years to think over the second question.
Yeah.
Would you mind terribly if I married someone else?
What are your feelings towards Princess Sissy?
And
gay American photographers? Now that we've cleared that up, no.
Indeed. Sorry, that's my cat if anybody's hearing her.
That's okay.
No, I didn't hear anything. Since we're talking about Chicken, so I love the first real proposal, and he sets it up because he's been a douche for like the first 68 pages, and you're like, Chicken. But then he has this moment where it's kind of Darcy-ish, where he's, calming down and being very eloquent, which he's never been eloquent. He's been like tumbling around drunk and having little, anyway.
She doesn't even hear him, right?
Sorry?
Is this where she doesn't even really hear him?
No, it's perfect. So I want to read that part. So here's the proposal on page 69. Miss Baird, Charlotte, if I may call you that, you must be aware that that in the last few months I have come to admire you greatly. My admiration is so great that it compels me to take a step which might appear to be premature, but which I, after much deliberation, have decided that I can no longer put off. You see, I'm at that stage in a man's life where he feels the need to settle down, and there's no one in this world that I would rather... Oh, look at that, Captain! Middleton is making his horse stand on its hind legs. Surely he will fall off. Miss Baird, Charlotte, if I may call you that. Come along, Captain Hartop, we must hurry. I'm afraid that if we don't go down there and restrain him, Captain Middleton will break his neck. And I love how he's going to restart from the beginning, because it's all planned out of what he's going to say. And it's just like, okay, once more from the top. And she's just like, and he's like, ah!
Or Hartop. Or chicken.
Oh man, that was good.
Best failed poser. Anyway, I've got a few more verbal slaps if you want me to.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on a verbal slap. Okay. So I love this one from Augusta. So it's one of their first moments where she's really intervening about Bay. So Augusta says, you know, I need to take care of you. I know how easy it is to be led astray. And Charlotte says, led astray? Augusta, are you about to confess an indiscretion? How very exciting. Does Fred know? Love that one. And then she does it again to her on 173 when she's all jealous that Bay is always being invited to be with the Empress, but knowing what's going on. So I'm not sure I would be entirely happy if Fred was having dinner with the most beautiful woman in Europe. How fortunate then, Augusta, that the Empress did not invite him. Because that's all she wanted. All she wanted was to get that in with the Empress. Well,
but she always did that. Every time Augusta made those little, like, oh, I would be the, oh, well, how fortunate for you.
God, I love those ones. And there were other ones that weren't explicit, but it was just like in her head. So I didn't put them in the verbal slap category, but they were still wonderful. So the first time that Augusta specifically mentions that Captain Middleton is probably just a fortune hunter, page 77. So just in Charlotte's head, Charlotte would have very much liked to pick up one of the orchids from Sarawak and poke it into her future sister-in-law's bulging blue eye. But she retained her composure by imagining her instead as an overbred Pekingese holding a parasol.
I totally have that flagged.
Yeah.
But I like when Bay... Oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I like when Bay gets at Augusta, too, when Augusta's just, like, talking, when Ida's like, oh, I heard that the Empress has taken riding lessons from a circus artist. Well, if I see her jump through a ring of fire when we are out with the Pitchley today, I will be sure to remember every detail. Like, I think everyone just likes to poke fun at Augusta's expense.
And there's the other one on 168. It was a shame, she thought, that Bay never flirted with Augusta. If only her future sister-in-law had been able to dismiss Bay as a beau she had toyed with and discarded, then his interest in Charlotte would be much easier to bear.
Yep. But alas, poor spinster Augusta, waiting so many years.
Okay, now this bothered me tremendously. Now, I know nothing about horses, so I will default to you, Caitlin, and what is physically possible, because you've had far more horse experience than I have. Okay, so on page 130, when they're doing their first going around, there is a 12-foot hedge, and they specify it is 12 feet tall. How big and how high do these horses jump?
I was going to say, how big is the horse?
Well, it's tipsy, and she like just narrowly makes it over. But like 12 feet. 12 feet seems pretty darn high. Is this a thing?
Well, I have to start by saying I rode Westerns, so there were more cows and less hedges.
But even a cow is not 12 feet. Like 12 feet.
No, well, we didn't jump
Two
cows.
full-grown men on top of one another. It's like that's a pretty big horse or very spriggy legs.
Yeah,
there's not much, like there's still belly that needs to
I'm
get
trying
over.
to think. I mean,
I'm not understanding the physics. But again, I know nothing about horses and how springy they are, but 12 feet just seems freaking tall.
Okay, well, like, it really depends on what kind of horse. I'm actually, like...
I don't know, whatever Tipsy is.
Or is that just to illustrate how amazing Tipsy was, maybe?
It was probably to illustrate how amazing Tipsy was, but also it depends, like, different breeds are different sizes and they're built differently. So...
It seems like
I feel it is freakishly tall, and I feel that very unlikely.
Wouldn't 8 feet still be impressive? 8 feet. 12 is like, what is happening with this super horse?
Yeah, I mean, most jumps are not, like... I mean...
It's not just Tipsy that makes it, it's also the Empress's horse that makes it as well. But just 12 feet is ridiculously high.
Nope. I'm just trying, like... My horse was very small.
Well, and I don't have anything to compare it to. I'm not a horse person. I've never seen such things. But I'm just, like, visualizing how big 12 feet is, and I'm like, that's more than 2 of me.
Here,
more than 2 of me. What horse is...
Yeah, I mean, that's... I'm looking
That's where my pink flag is, because I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? Is this a real thing, or did she just pick a number? It's bothering me.
No, I'm looking at the Olympic.
Find out. Just watch. It's going to be like, this horse has jumped 16 feet, and then I'll seem ridiculous.
Well, I know they're not that high. 12... Really? 12 feet? I don't remember even...
That's what it says. It is 12 feet. And I went back to that so many times. So I'm like, isn't that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous. Are you sure? That's...
At least 12 foot tall.
Okay, that's... No, and they, like, when they do the courses, like the equestrian courses, you know what I mean? Do you know what... Okay.
Yeah, I actually do know what those are.
Yeah, with all the... Okay, with all the different jumps.
Yeah.
Where they, yeah. They're, like... 6...
that tall.
No, like 6'6".
Yeah.
Like they're not more than 7 feet generally. Like I'm just thinking, like what kind? Yeah, it's like what kind? And
wouldn't add 5 more
small.
on top of that.
Yeah, but that's what it says. Between the pack and its quarry was a hedge, at least 12 foot tall.
Was it at the bottom of a hill? Did they jump from the top of the hill?
It doesn't say that. It says that the dogs found a hole somewhere, but the hedge is 12 feet tall.
So the horse is so incredible as to be unbelievable.
But then sissies did it too. Like no one would attempt to jump something that's twice as high as the most.
So if it is like in like a slope of some sort, then yeah, that makes sense. But then I wouldn't say that the hedge is 12 feet tall. I would do it from where ground level is and go from there. Just the 12 feet. It just boggles my mind. What is happening here?
You can tell how carefully.
These crazy super horses.
Okay.
It bothered me because I just trying to. Like,
the record. Well.
Unless it's a hedge, so it's all branches, and they're going more through the hedge than actually over it.
But they don't say that.
Well, the thing is, it's Tipsy. Tipsy's small, and Tipsy's a mare. Like, a thoroughbred stallion cleared a fence that was 8 foot.
See, and I said 8 feet would be impressive and tall, but 12 is like,
Okay, wait.
I feel like she just picked a number that seemed big. Because it bothers me.
It does seem
visualize horse. Like. Because they got like either get their legs out or tucked in or something. Because there's lots of leg and round belly.
No. Well, okay. This thing I'm reading here says there was one that was only 16 hands high, so it's not enormous, and he cleared 8.3.
Okay, but 8 feet. 8 feet
Yeah.
impressively high.
But not a massive.
12 feet.
Yeah.
But also the
like,
horse wasn't. But the horse, like, I mean, 12 feet. Yeah, that's pretty. I feel like that would have to have a lot of circumstances around it. Like again, you'd have to be going super fast from a hill, like get the upper.
Yeah,
And I
think 8 would have been impressive enough.
Not
8 would have been
tipsy.
like, okay, that's massive. 8 feet, right? That's still more than a super tall dude. That's still more like that twice the height of a horse. So
Yeah.
that would be impressive. But the other, it's like, it bothered me. I went back to that page so many times. I'm like, really? 12 feet? 12 feet? 12 feet? I don't bothered me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if Tipsy is clearing 12 feet, then it shouldn't be any surprise that she won the national. The odds should have been far more in her favor. Like, she's just going to jump, leapfrog over all the horses and get ahead of them. That's what's going to happen.
That would work.
No, she's clearing 12 feet. And what the hell?
I'm just curious now, like,
how this is physically possible?
So backtracking slightly to Charlotte's witticisms. Just because the 12 feet thing, I don't feel like that's solvable, really.
I still think she just picked a number and went with that. Because it's only mentioned once, so it's something that she easily could have not gone back to after she just insert number
yeah,
here.
most of them she just says that it's high, very high.
Yeah, but that one, 12 feet tall. Like that's really big. Really big.
Entertaining moments. Hardtop tugged at his whiskers. Charlotte thought that rarely had she seen
so much.
So visibly. She fancied she could see his brain bulging with the effort.
Another hit against chicken.
I just love Charlotte. She was so entertaining.
Page 76. I also like this one where she's being warned against Babe. Protect me from what, though? I have danced with Middleton once, sat next to him at dinner once, and taken his photograph twice. He has not made love to me. Indeed, the bulk of our conversation has been about his horse. Frankly, if he is an example of a dangerous ladies' man, then I am disappointed.
That's fair.
I love that she's open to a little adventure and a little scandal.
Yeah.
Why not? I also love her aunt. Aunt is amazing. 282. And I love perfect life advice. But a man will only make you happy for a while a skill, an occupation, learning something will always satisfy you. Life advice. I enjoy that.
But that reminded me of when they do have the proposal. Because Casper comes in, he's like, are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? And he asks her, like, can you really forgive him? I think so. He is here, isn't he? But do you really want to be your wife? He says
he will carry my camera. I love that.
Like, there she could be happy with her skills because he will help her. He will carry the camera. I was like, that is a perfect man.
I feel like I've justified that once in a while, too. Like, but he does this. He's useful.
Yeah. Like, what's this? But this.
I mean, I don't know if it still trumps the fact that he's been sleeping around and has fathered a child, which he still hasn't told her about. Like, he still hasn't come clean about Blanche has my bastard child.
You know. Don't. I feel like
everyone suspects.
Everyone suspects that they've had the affair, but he hasn't officially come clean.
Possibly, but I feel like there was some moment somewhere where she heard about it and felt like sympathetic towards him because it would suck to not be able to actually.
Well, because it was something about his like expression because Blanche had left, and then like and then there was a baby, and it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also,
but it should still come from him rather than societal rumor.
But like it's
like even the sissy stuff was societal rumor, not him.
Yeah.
But think about the times too. It's not like.
But she's still ahead of her time.
Huh?
She's so ahead of her time.
She is, but that doesn't mean he...
Well, even then, like, actually, Caitlin and I discussed this, like, when we were Skyping earlier this week, was how does this get navigated with the social conventions of the time? Because, like, they have an arrangement, but they're not actually engaged, and they barely know each other.
Like, it doesn't excuse his behavior, but it's
yeah,
still,
it
like, how do you...
But it kind of muddies things a little bit.
Versus, like, nowadays, where it's so much more, like...
Yeah, like, by the time you're
Like, you
engaged
would
in a relationship, hopefully for a while.
Yeah, you generally would have a relationship, or you would have the marriage, like, the engagement officially arranged, if it was an arranged marriage. So it's like, you definitely can't do that. But unless that is within the arrangement, because there are arrangements like that. But you know, either way, it's like everyone knows what the rules are.
Yeah.
So.
Ashley's gone quite quiet.
No, it's allowing others to speak.
What else? Trying to think
I do love his other outburst. So we had talked about the hitting chicken part. Where is it? 389. Anyway, so he's still upset with everything that's going on and how everyone's perceiving it, and he's stuck in a carriage talking about Charlotte and Sissy and yeah, and so he's supposed to be sucking up to Spencer, because that's the important thing to do, and then he just gets out of the carriage. What are you doing? Because I don't want to hit you.
Yes.
I like Angry Bay.
I love Angry Bay.
Angry Bay is the best. I mean, like, it's the only thing that redeems him from being douchebag Bay. Is that he's all frustrated and he's like, oh, I hate myself and I hate other people for making me like this.
I love Angry Bay. I was so in love with Angry Bay. I have something I just found, but like I can't. My page numbers are different than yours by a lot.
Oh,
because I have the paperback. But in the paperback, it's page 128 where Bay is complimenting Charlotte. She's like done her hair in the ringlets, and you know it's that usual "you look nice today, only today" kind of scenario. And he's like, "I think you look charming, but then you always look charming whether you are wearing ringlets and bedecked with diamonds or wearing an apron with your hands covered in stains. It makes no difference to me." Charlotte was both flattered by the speech and faintly annoyed. She had, after all, gone to some trouble. Like,
which is true. You can't really win in that situation. It's like, of course I look beautiful today because of how many hours of work I put into it. But if you tell me that it made no difference, then why did I put hours of work into it?
That's so true. Like, but we do that all the time, don't we? Like,
yeah.
Not just girls. Guys do it too. But I think girls are a bit more common perpetrators on that. But it's like, oh, well, I'm glad that you think I always look nice, but yeah, it's like you did the... Like,
trying to get an honest comment, like, just trying to get my hair cut, and I'm like, am I going for bangs or not bangs? Well, whatever you would like. Okay, do you prefer the bangs or not the bangs? I think you're beautiful anyway. I know you're being sweet, but it's annoying. Just give me an answer.
I got an honest answer when I cut my bangs again. I don't really like you with bangs. Well, I like me with bangs, so I'm doing it anyway. See, that's me. And then it's like, I actually do like you with bangs. It's like, okay. But it's usually sweet. Whatever you want, honey. I like you no matter what. It's like, I'm...
Thank you, but now I need another answer.
Yes. Does my hair look okay? Yeah, it looks great. What about now? It still looks great, but it's completely different. But it still looks great. But like when you're trying to go out.
Another reason why I could never be a lesbian. I can't put up with my own crap.
Yeah, no kidding. Girls suck.
They do. They're crazy. I don't know how men do it.
I know, right?
You willingly choosing this? Like, do you hate yourself secretly? Why do you endure this?
You poor unfortunate creature.
Yes.
You have to live with me for the rest of your life.
But you chose this. You asked me. You had a chance to get out. You chose to go forward.
But neither of you were there. For my bachelorette, I had to do one of those quizzes where he had to answer the questions first, and then I had to guess his answer.
Yeah, I showed up at like midnight for your Oh, not your bachelorette. That was
No, this is
your...
my bachelorette. Yeah,
Wait.
neither of you were there, but what do you love most about her? I got that one right, but I was totally just guessing. No, how insane she is.
Quirkiness.
It's like I guessed quirkiness first because I was trying to be nice about it, and we literally put like her craziness or how crazy she is. Like, well, at least you know what you're getting into.
Matt would have just done the safe answer of everything,
Oh,
and then
there
it
were
would
no
have pissed
safe.
me off because I'd be like,
Yeah, there were no safe answers.
be honest. I am being honest. Stop being so chivalrous.
No, seriously, what is your favorite part about me? You don't always want to know that answer. Hey, yeah, he can't complain. He knew exactly what he was getting into.
Well, think about well, both you and I, how long we've been together before actually getting married, right? I got married on my 9-year anniversary. Yeah. There should be no surprises at this point. If you don't know, you really weren't paying attention.
Yep.
Okay, totally something different. But one of the things I really loved were, because we talked about all the little quirks and verbal slaps, how many little slaps there were against the Queen throughout this. And I loved them. Okay, so starting on 265 in my copy, I loved it because it's still applicable today. Everything at Windsor is old. But with the greatest respect, ma'am, I would hesitate to say that in the presence of the Queen. The Queen still mainly occupies Windsor Castle. No, because I was there in the same day that she was, waiting for news about Prince George's birth. So we're both hanging out at Windsor Castle that day. They're both old. Okay. Anyway, so that was one there. Just a couple pages over, when Sissy's looking at the portrait. The young princes and princesses looked like angels, and while Victoria looked, as ever, like a goose, she was at least in Winterhalter's hands a handsome one. And then they're making fun of her again.
Always her shape.
314. Well, okay. It starts with talking about Sissy and how amazing she is, that she's like jumping through hoops and all that stuff. So it starts with Casper saying, well, as a Republican, Sir Allard, I would happily trade in one of our presidents for an empress who can do circus tricks. And then it goes on, and they're... someone else steps in. Majesty cannot be taken lightly. It is inconceivable that our queen would jump through hoops of fire. And then Casper whispers to Charlotte, it would have to be a very big hoop.
And of course, as you're reading that, all I can think is about, like, metaphorically jumping through hoops.
True.
Yep.
Which they all do.
They all do, for the queen or for the empress. Like, she's the one who can jump through hoops, but then everyone else has to jump through hoops for her.
Yep. Joys of the monarchy.
Yeah.
There was
came off very well in this book.
No.
There was a neat little thought here that Casper says as they're traveling through London and down Charles Street, and they're talking about what's fashionable and what's not. And he says, but we don't have a Charles Street in the West. Not yet, anyway. In San Francisco, there are fancy streets, of course, but they weren't there 5 years ago. There aren't any layers yet. The paint is still wet. We don't really have time for the past out west. We are too busy imagining the present. And it's thinking about it as a colonist, where we're still in a relatively new country, and just thinking about where that's changed and where that's similar, like where I'm in now, like we still have a little bit of the areas where you can tell there's the old money and all that stuff, but it's still developing and changing, and right, places get run down and then they get bought out again and they become new money areas again, and so it is interesting. Still adjusting
too, because there is just so much development right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it develops, so that might be the new big hot spot, and then the inner city stuff gets run down, but then there's the rejuvenation, so it's still prime property, so they're buying it out and putting, multi-million-dollar homes in there. So it's still cycling. It's not like, okay, you live in Chelsea, and if you've lived in Chelsea at any point in like the last 800 years, you're still in a hoity-toity spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
But that's the difference with, like North America is just constantly building out, building up.
Yeah, like even Vancouver,
the paint is still wet.
Yeah.
Like in Vancouver, there are a few areas, but even then, they're not that old because Vancouver's not that old yet.
Like there's still some, like North Van will always be more impressive than like Surrey.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that there aren't, the differences. There's still going to be spots of Surrey that are expanding and getting you multi-million-dollar properties.
Well, especially right now, there's a lot of development out there.
Yeah. So it's still cycling through. There's still room for potential. The paint is still wet, and I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I live somewhere where you can't build above what's already been built, so they just keep touching it up. I guess the paint is...
Your paint is dry.
My paint is very dry. Yeah, when you go to a museum to see old ships, and you're like, that's older than my country.
Because we got rocks and trees and trees and rocks.
No, I finally got that out of my head.
And water!
I finally got that out of my head. Oh, no, why? Yeah, we don't even have, like, patriotic songs unless it's, like, the national anthem. So you're, like, rooming with a Brit for a while, and he's singing Jerusalem, and you're like,
Canada's really big.
Yeah.
Women can't get away with singing I Am Cow, and it bothers me because it's taken in all the wrong
I know.
Any song that has a line with teats in it, and you're just like, nope, can't sing this song.
I don't think you can sing We Are the Beaver either.
At least it doesn't have the word teats in it.
That's true. But, like, that's the thing, you're like, Canadian artists that have songs about Canada. It's really narrow.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we've successfully donated a lot of our Canadian artists back to the States. Like, we don't need you anymore. You go over there.
Yeah. So, yes. So, what he's talking about is kind of like, I know the feeling. Fresh paint, dry paint.
I feel bad, but I have to point out the time because I literally actually have a flight to catch.
Yes.
Well, have fun. Be safe.
At the clock. Did you guys want to keep going, or did you want to quickly wrap up, or?
I mean, I can wrap up. I don't know.
I got my quotes. Actually, I literally ticked all of them off from my list.
Okay, great. So.
I mean, the only thing would be me talking about the next book, I think. But you already know what the next book is.
You can. Yeah, we could do that. We could just like give ratings for this one and then quickly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I had mixed feelings, so I landed on a solid 3.
And I talked about mine being 4.5. I wanted to give it 5, but then the ending. Too much singing. Couldn't handle it. Jumbotron.
I also went with a 4, actual rating 4.5 out of 5. So I loved it. It didn't quite, like, there was a little bit of a slow bit at the beginning, so it didn't completely knock it out of the ballpark for me, but I loved it. It was very entertaining.
Word stuffs for it. I had like a list of them, but I didn't see anyone else.
No, I had nothing. I mean, I just finished it, and then I had to work.
I feel like I had one, but I think I was going to go for like the Imperfectly Perfect award or something like that, because I do love that the characters are flawed. Like, it kind of makes me happy.
Yes. I would agree to that.
Imperfectly Perfect?
Yeah.
I think that would be an author award just for how she portrays her characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I went nuts over this one. So my DBSD, douchebag spectrum disorder award, because every man in this book suffers from it.
Yeah.
So feel free to veto me if I'm
No, that is actually.
just me.
Yeah.
I
If you
also
had just said they're all douchebags, I would have argued with you, but because you went with the spectrum,
it's a spectrum because it's just little doses in some cases, but there's still something somewhere. No one is free from like any amount of douchebaggery.
yeah.
Bay is the most lovable douchebag because
Yes.
of all the douchebags, your heart still feels something every time he tries to punch someone.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Bay, again, for closet circus freak. Because
Yes.
what the hell officer just happens to learn how to do handstands on the backs of horses? Like, what are you doing with your free time, sir? Like, just...
Wait, you guys haven't learned to do that in your free time?
Well, I looked up an old picture of him, like the actual Bay dude, and he's like all snooty-like, and I'm like, I still can't picture you doing handstands on the back of a horse.
Probably didn't in real life.
We talked about this a little bit before going live, so I put out a award for Casper, how he out-Britished the British. Just his mannerisms, also, like, despite the fact that he's American and everyone makes fun of him for being American, just a lot of what he says and how he says it just seems far more British than these officers that are more uncouth.
So uncouth.
I put an author award forward for unhistorical fiction because it's the least amount of historical relevance to a historical fiction novel. We talked a little bit about that. Like, it is about Princess Sissy, but it really never had to be.
Yeah, like it's about all real characters, but it seems like that was just like the baseline of.
Yeah.
It was like the spark of inspiration, but it really didn't have to continue on that line at all.
Exactly.
Author award for the Bitch Slap Banter Award because those are awesome. And I did the Jumbotron Proposal Award because it bothered me. It was like Jumbotron. I'm sorry.
It was.
At the time where there was no Jumbotron technology, it was the version of Jumbotron Proposal.
You can't really disagree with that, I don't think. It was a Jumbotron Proposal.
And this one was just for me because I did thoroughly enjoy it. And thinking about the narrative tones in it. And I said the Top Hat Award in my own honor because I think we have the same hatter. Just with our narrative voice usage. So feel free to veto that one if it's just me. I feel like the narrator had a top hat on.
Sorry, I'm having background noise.
Yeah, sorry.
Adi Brasso?
Yeah, I was trying to fix the music. But...
No, it's okay. Sorry. Yes, top hat because it is Ashley. Sure. I only heard like half of that. I'm sorry because I had.
Just the narrative voice. It seems like she's wearing a top hat, and I wear a top hat.
Yes, I would agree to that.
So those are my awards, and then adding the Imperfectly Perfect Author Award.
Good.
All right, and then as Ashley does that, I know it's Ashley's pick, but I'll move on to introducing the next one. The Revolutions by Felix Gilman.
So when we say that we will read anything and everything, I feel like I know nothing about this other than when I read the back of it last month. And this feels like it's going to be in the anything and everything category.
The categories fit into romance, science, historical fiction.
I don't have my copy yet, so I can't hold it up.
Okay. So this is the back of the book, and hopefully it's more accurate in mine than the Fortune Hunter, because
mine's gonna be different than yours again, I think.
We can do both.
Well, it's very long.
In 1893, young journalist Arthur Shaw is at work in the British Museum reading room when the Great Storm hits London, wreaking unprecedented damage. In its aftermath, Arthur's newspaper closes, owing him money, and all his debts come due at once. His fiancée, Josephine, takes a job as a stenographer for some of the fashionable spiritualists and occult societies of fin de siècle London society. At one of her meetings, Arthur is given a job lead for what seems to be accounting work, but at a salary many times what any clerk could expect. The work is long and peculiar, as the workers spend all day performing unnerving calculations that make him hallucinate or even go mad. But the money is compelling. Things are beginning to look up when the perils of dabbing in the esoteric suddenly come to a head. A war breaks out between competing magical societies. Josephine joins one of them for hazardous occult exploration, an experiment which threatens to leave her stranded at the outer limits of consciousness among the celestial spheres. Arthur won't give up his great love so easily and hunts for a way to save her, as Josephine fights for survival, somewhere in the vicinity of Mars. I have no idea what's going to happen in this book.
But I feel like it's going to be
all over the place. Just the concept of all those different things happening simultaneously, I feel like this could easily be a complete train wreck or epically awesome. It's going to be the best thing ever. I have no idea. So that's anything and everything. I feel like it's all going to be contained in this.
I hope a werewolf shows up just to complete the cycle.
Like playing bagpipes.
Yes. I actually know a book about Scottish werewolves.
There we go. Maybe they're going to be in here too.
That would be amazing.
The Kraken comes up. They have an epic werewolf Kraken battle.
It does sound like Cthulhu is about to pop out of somewhere.
Well, once you start talking about the occult rituals, the
and the esoteric things, yeah. So anyway, that's next month's take. So we'll meet, I don't know, in like May 3rd. May 3rd.
Okay.
That was it. I do say so.
Okay.
And we shan't question her.
We shan't. Because I have no other free time. Yet is when it's happening if you want me. That's also conveniently 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So
we have time to read this massive tome.
Yes.
Which is actually about the same size as the other, so it shouldn't
be. It is. 400 and something.
Provided it isn't a dreadfully boring read, but I don't know. Things are happening on Mars, so
it's a good start.
If Charlie and Willy Wonka can go to Mars and fight things, why not Arthur Shaw?
And on that note, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a month. And go read things.
Happy reading.
Happy reading. And happy Easter.
Bye.
Bye.